Alright, this is a little quick video on solve by square rooting. First of all, square rooting is the opposite of something being squared. So you have if you have x squared, that's the same as x times x. Square root is the opposite of something squared. So if I have the square root of x squared, it just takes knocks off one of the x's, so that equals x. Or, if I have 3 squared, which is the same as 3 times 3, right, which is 9. If I take the square root of 9, that equals 3. Sorry for the bunched upness. So it's like multiplying and dividing, right? They're opposites. You square something, you square root something, those are opposites, okay? So there's some examples here where solve by square rooting can work and solve by square rooting cannot work. Most important, you cannot do solve by square rooting if you have an x squared and an x in the problem, like this one, right? Like this one. You can only do it when you have just an x squared term, okay? This is an x squared term. This is also an x squared term, because if you multiply that out, you get x squared, but you could also just take the square root of that and that gets rid of the parentheses, okay? This is also the same thing, okay? So I'm going to do a few. I think I'm going to do 1 through 9, okay? Kind of show you, and you guys can do 2 through 10. So here, I'm going to solve. The key thing here is you have to get the squared term on its own before you can do any square rooting. So it's like after adding, subtracting, after multiplying, dividing, after all that, then you can do the square root. So since the square term is on its own, I can square root both sides, right? If I do something to one side, I got to do it to the other. The square root of x squared is just x. The square root of 25 is 25. I'm sorry, it's not 25. Square root of 25 is 5, but it's also negative 5, right? So we're going to put a plus minus in there, right? Because negative 5 times negative 5 is positive 25, and positive 5 and positive 5 is 25. So you're going to have two answers here, okay? That's also that's also a thing here, okay? Here I have this 4 here, so I'm going to divide by 4 on both sides. And then I get x squared equals 50, and then I just square root. This time it is a decimal, so the square root of 50 is 7.07. And then don't forget your plus minus in front, okay? Because it could be positive or it could be negative, all right? So you can just round, all right? In this case, the x plus 3 squared is also the same as x plus 3 times x plus 3. So technically, the square is already by itself. So I can take the square root here, and I have x plus 3 squared. This just cancels out the square. So I'm left with x plus 3, and then with I'm going to make this a 9. The square root of 9, which is 3, okay, plus minus 3 technically. So then I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides. Now before I do that, since it is technically plus 3 or minus 3, I'm going to make 2 separate equations. So I'm going to make this a plus 3, and then I'm going to do x plus 3 equals negative 3, kind of like our absolute value. So I just solve. Alright, so I got x equals 0, and I got x equals -6. Okay? Make this one, 16. Number 7, I have this -3. I gotta add to this side before I can do my square root, because it's the square root term is not by itself. So think of this like absolute value. You have to get everything but the absolute value bars, right? In this case, it's the squared term. Okay, so I have x minus 4 squared equals 11. And make this a 13, because I'm going to make this 16. Just want to make it easier for you. So I'm going to square root both sides. We got x minus 4, because the square root cancels the square. And then square root of 16 is plus minus 4. So I have two equations. X minus 4 equals 4, and x minus 4 equals -4. So I'm going to add 4 to both sides. Get x equals 0 again. No, I'm sorry. 4 plus 4 is not 0. That's 8. Okay, and this, I'm going to add 4. This one is x equals 0. Okay, and make this 26. Okay, so make that one a 16, make that one a 26. All right, so this last one we have, it's a two-stepper. So I got to get rid of, I got to add 1 to both sides. So I got 6 times x plus 9 squared. We cannot distribute because of the squared there. Cannot do that. Equals 216. And I'm going to divide by 6 to get rid of this 6. So I got x plus 9 squared equals 36. Okay. So now I can take my square root, and I get x plus 9 equals plus minus 6. And I make two equations, right? X plus 9 equals 6. X plus 9 equals -6. And then I solve from there. So minus 9, I got x equals -3. And then minus 9, x equals -15. Okay. I think this should be all right here. 47. It should be. Divided by 3, which is 40, not 44. 49. Oh, perfect. Yeah, 49. So that should be fine. Okay. So yeah, if you have any questions, make sure you change those right there, number 6 and 8. But if you have any questions, let me know.